Hey everyone, Kin from Tomo Chain here. And on this episode of Think Outside the Block, we're going to be speaking with the CEO of Trip Protocol, Mr. Hai Ho, about sustainable travel businesses on the blockchain and how to operate one successfully. So, as a little bit of background, Trip Protocol is a travel startup and it's based out of Southeast Asia with over 200,000 users. And right now, it's a profitable business. It's been operating for the last 5 years, and they are a Shark Tank alumnus. They are also an ICO on Tomo Chain itself, and are soon going to be listing on the Biki Exchange. So, Mr. Hai Ho, it's wonderful to meet you over virtually over this, and I'm really excited to hear a lot more about Trip Protocol and your plans moving forward on it. So if you would, please just give us a little bit of an introduction on yourself and tell us a little bit about Trip.
Yeah, hello, Tomo community. My name is Hai Ho. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Trip. So I consider myself a high impact entrepreneur, where I want to use my talent to create a great impact for the world projects. So I have been in the startup world for about 12 years. I built my first community back in 2006. I grew from 0 to 500,000 users within 18 months. And then I sold that to another company, build my digital agency, and then I left to build another social networks. We grow from 2 million to 4 million users. I build mobile healthcare device. I also build ebook apps. So I build tons of things, which means I fail a lot of time. And when I took all of these lessons, when I start to build Trip in 2014. And for Trip, when we first started, it's quite simple. It's an on-demand local guide platform where you will be able to become a tour guide yourself, or you find a local who become a tour guide that show you the great local experience that only the local knows. So we grow from 2014. We got fundings by the VCs. We grow from one country to 100 country, and we just keep growing. And then until 2017 is the time we take a great reflections, because we saw a lot of problem in the travel industry, and that was the time we decided to build a new platform on top of Trip that utilize blockchains.
That's great, and I think that it's amazing that you've been able to find a way to integrate blockchain into the Trip protocol, into the Trip business itself. So I think in that case, let's get to the first question. So how does the Trip business model work, and why is integrating blockchain into it so integral to the operations of it?
Yeah. So I think first of all, when we've been operating Trip from 2014 until 2017, so we go from 0 to 2 or 3 million US dollar revenue a year, but then we'll find that the biggest problem that we're facing is how to acquire customer. Normally, when you fly to another country, right, it's very hard for us to know which country that you're gonna fly into. Back then, we cannot, even for Facebook, we cannot run an ad and say who gonna travel to, for example, Singapore next week. You don't have that options, and the only person with that data is Google, because the moment you type like what thing to do in Singapore, then Google know that you are travel to Singapore, or people who you book the air ticket or the flight tickets. So we find out that problem ourselves. We spend $50,000 on SEO, trying to competing with other big brands on Google for the same keyword, things to do in Singapore, in Manila, in Indonesia, in Russia. But it's crazy because it's the same keyword which I have to compete with the giant like TripAdvisor, like Hyatt Hotel, like all of the big brand in the world. And for small company, it's crazy. So we burn up $50,000 just like that. So that was the time I was asking myself, like, if I want to grow Trip sustainably, if I want to find a way to grow, what will be the way? So we have been asking these questions for years, and then somehow in 2017, when we stumble upon blockchain, and also we even so know about Tomo Chains, that was the time we said maybe there's a way to create a data marketplace where user will just, because for us, we say, okay, if we don't know who, where, and the only person know this question is the data monopolies. So why don't we go and ask the traveler by themselves? But then we ask, how do we ask that question? How do we reward that questions? So that was where this question meet the blockchain technology. That's how we started with Trip Protocol.
So when it comes to, again, kind of integrating the whole blockchain component into your business, where do you see it? How does it fit in exactly? How does it help you to kind of differentiate yourself from perhaps your previous approach where you're spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars in advertising revenue on Google, where they're sourcing, they have all of the data, as you mentioned. So how do you see kind of blockchain fitting into this whole thing where it's helping you to operate your business?
So I think the overall approach of blockchain is to become more transparent, but the key is to remove the middleman. So in the travel industry, there were many middlemen in betweens. Well, for example, if you are a traveler from America, right here, and if you want to travel to Asia, so in between you, there are tons of middlemen who resell the original package from Asia to an American traveler just because these two persons don't trust each other. So you're gonna have the local supplier, they list the tour on the OTA platform, and the OTA platform, they need to list on another advertising platform until they see the final traveler. So by remove all of this guy in between and create a simple escrow model where the traveler in America can just simply put their monies instead of US dollar, you can put it in a TripMine token in the escrow account wallet. And then when this supplier provide the service and the two of them agree that the service has been successfully deployed, the money will be released back to the supplier. So that simple things, it takes time to build. You can do that with normal fiat like US dollar, but again, you need to use another third-party financial service, which also expensive. Every time you use your credit card to pay for something, it's take 3.5% for the local supplier, plus the currency conversion, which means you are earning US dollar and spending in Asia, you're gonna take 1 more percent just to exchange the money across border. So all of these things adding up, and we do some estimation by ourselves. So normally for $100 travel package, the supplier have to bear about $8 or 8% until the money still arrive to their bank account. So 8% in the travel business is a lot of money. And on top of that 8% on the financial, sometimes the local supplier have to pay 20% or 30% to pay for the OTA or the other middleman to be able to sell the package to the traveler. So for $100, they are losing about 28 to $38. That's a lot of money. So we saw that, we say there is a way for us, as long as we be able to remove the payment and we'll be able sense. If we remove another layer for people to find customer without going through the OTA to the travel platform, that another 20%. So just by helping business to save money, that is our business model. And also by helping the business save money, we are helping the traveler to travel cheaper because they can book at original price instead of the markup price that we're doing right now. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is about the data, right? In the past, we'll be able to say that, okay, guys, you have a small travel business, you have some of the data, can you share to us? And together we create a data alliance so that everybody get benefit. Small business to say that this is my business, this is my data. Who are you that I should trust you to give you my data? So I really see a lot of no in the past, and even for the travelers, right? You can see a lot of case where like Hyatt website got hacked, 300 million customer database stolen. So all of these things happen, and so for us, when we saw a decentralized network like TomoChain, where we can actually put this sensitive data on top of the network uh, using a private key, and that data is don't belong to our server. So we saw that, oh, so that will be a good user case to using blockchains as a way to store sensitive data, and the data is belong to everyone, not a single entity, not a single company. So when we share this idea to the owner company that we approached in the past, hey guys, we don't store the data on our server anymore, but it will be on a decentralized network. And they will say, what is the decentralized network? I explain to them about the idea of blockchain. Hey, that's a great idea, and that's how people adopt our protocol.
I think that's great. I mean, the fact is that number one, as you're saying, you're removing middlemen. Because you're removing the middlemen, all that value that's typically lost is now being distributed to the right people, which are the people who are traveling, and as well as the person who's providing the service wherever you're booking your travel to. And at the same time, you're not storing all of the data anymore on your own servers. So again, it's sort of you're decentralizing your business in that way, and that's pretty insightful. How has the current COVID-19 situation potentially impacted your business?
Because of the COVID-19, it's another wake-up call for countries who are so dependent on international travel. In the past, people don't care much about domestic travel because they were thinking that domestic travel is just a small amount of country will be able to do so. And a lot of country, even from my country, Vietnam, we are just heavily built our entire tourism industry infrastructure for the international traveler, where we ignore completely the domestic travel because we don't think it's sexy. We don't think that make a lot of money as compared to the international market. But right now, everything changed. Domestic become really hot because you have no other options, and countries are being like closing the border with each other, so you can only count on your own people. So for us, the great news is we're not just a travel platform, because if we only build our platform based on travel and the only revenue is through people make a booking and then we earn a commissions. So by doing that, we would have died right now, because basically there's no travel. Even Vietnam, we only opened for 76 days ago, but for months without booking, any company will die, right? But the one thing that we were so lucky that we saw that we want to become a data company that building on top of the blockchain's foundations. Whereas when people don't travel, the data is still there. There are people who still sharing their data to us, even when they don't travel. And we create a program called the Stay Home Hero, where people uploading their photo of staying home every day to earn 1 trip miles a day. Be able to know a lot about what time they open, what time they're uploading the photos, and where's their location, and all of this thing. And for us, some people say, okay, are you collecting data from people? We say, no, we are buying and selling with the user consent. The moment they sell the data to us, they get the token. So that's a fair trade, right? And to our surprise, during the COVID, in the first 2 quarters of 2020, we grow 300% month over month. So even people don't travel, they still have data to share, and they still refer their friends to join our platform, because they understand now is the best time to join, to earn the token, so that when they be able to travel again, they have some money to travel. We have like people like Crypto Jones from Africa. He just came in and said, hey, I want to create a South African Telegram group for you guys. And the other person said, okay, I have to do some translations. So suddenly we were surrounded by the help from the people, from the investor. And the moment we asked, like, why do you came in? And we say, because you focus on sustainable travel, because you focus on building a travel platform that really powered by the people. So that's where I see myself in that vision, and I just come and help. So turn out, there's a lot of people can help you out there, and I think all of these things you cannot buy by money.
So what's been sort of that secret in terms of allowing you to operate in a more global capacity rather than having to focus on one geography at a time? And how have you been able to manage that?
I think the good thing is when we buildings this decentralized platform, right? So the company behind that need to be decentralized too. You cannot build a decentralized platform and when you run your company it's like a centralized like corporate normally. So that's for us. We say we have to find a way to decentralize our own company first before building a product. So we spent a lot of time in the last 2 years trying working on like how do you work remotely. So we work remotely before the COVID-19 hits, and so that's why we had a lot of people. So we have one in Europe, and we have people in different time zone. So we learn how to handle people in different time zone. And normally in the past, if you want to expand your company from one country to another country, what you have to do is you have to find a country director. Then you have to put money to create a local company there, and you have to find a way to issue the share of the mother company to the subsidiary in that country. All of that legal documentation is gone when you build using a cryptocurrency. So when you join the company, well, you're going to receive some trip miles. If you perform well, the trip mile value going to go up. We'll be able to do some smart contract on the KPI. So here's the KPI. When you hit the KPI, you're going to receive the equivalent amount of trip mile token. So everything is much more smoother and faster thanks to the foundations of smart contract and the cryptocurrency that we are building. But last but not least, I think what we care the most and why people come to help us is still our vision is we want to build a travel economy that owned by every traveler. Until now, we still stick to the vision, and that's why it's easier for us to find people to help us in places where we don't have people there.
That's really cool. I mean, again, you're talking about efficiencies, removing middlemen, removing the need for additional paperwork and bureaucracy, and the way in which you hire is much more, yeah, it's much more efficient in this way, and having everyone partake in the success of the entire company through the token itself. And that includes your customers as well. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about why you decided to conduct your ICO on TomoChain specifically, and what it is about the platform that continues to have you supporting it.
Even one of the famous blockchain project we were built by like doctor, professor. They gave us a documentation where our normal engineer cannot read and understand. And I give back to them and say, hey, this is too high level. Can you write something simple? And they say, hey, we can understand this. I say, come on. You have to build something for other people, for the normal developer, because not many developers are familiar with blockchains, right? You have to start something with small. So we spent 6 months. We spent 6 months asking all of the blockchain project out there who provide a public chain service and infrastructure. And our CTO is actually the one who's talked to all of their CTO. So that's how we find our blockchain partner. And somehow we found TomoChain and we read the documentations. Back then, TomoChain doesn't have a mainnet yet. So it's a purely on testnet. And for us, I think that was some of the moment where I took a big trust. Okay, here's the documentations, here's the team, how they build it. And my CTO say, okay, this guy know what they're doing. So that's for us, we choose TomoChain to build on top of what we're doing right now. And luckily, the mainnet of TomoChain's, well, available on time, according to the roadmap. And then the ICO platform also arrived on time. For us, I think it's lucky that we spend endless amount of time finding the right blockchain team who have really strong technical match with us. And the rest of the ICO, it just happened naturally because we worked so hard in the beginning already.
One of the things when it comes to TomoChain that I've been very happy with, even before I joined, I was an early investor in it myself, is that the team itself has industry experience before they started TomoChain. So it's not being treated as a research project. It's being thought of as a business. So you have to really think about the actual end use cases for other businesses as well as for users. And so, I was pleasantly surprised and happy when I heard initially that Trip was going to be doing an ICO on TomoChain. And I think segueing to the next question actually for you, which is also, it's a great time for all of us because you are not only the first ICO on TomoChain, you're also the first token project on TomoChain, which is going to have a major listing on Biki Exchange this week. Congratulations on that. For everyone at Trip and even at TomoChain, we're celebrating. We've been celebrating all week. It's wonderful news. So I wanted to get a better understanding of what this listing means for you and how you kind of think about things moving forward after the listing.
I think since we are more like a product-driven company, and we have a saying that without a real product that ship, everything you say is bullshit. And for us, we've been talking about like building a currency for travel industry for the last 2 years. And when we don't release the token to market, whatever we say is bullshit. So finally for this week, I can say that, we no longer say bullshit. We really make a token that available to the market. So for Trip, it took 2 years, and we know how hard it is to build that things and to survive, to grow. So for us, we really salute all the people, all the token teams have been able to release, to grow their token 10 times, 100 times before us. We really understand it's a hard work. So for us, we are a little baby. We start our first step in the kindergarten, and we are excited to see when we go to university. Yeah.
So let's segue into some of the community questions that came in over Twitter and Telegram. So the first question is, and I think you somewhat answered this a little bit earlier, but why is it that you decided that now was the right time to go for a major exchange listing?
So for Biki, actually we Ethan, the CEO of Biki in South Asia. So I know Ethan since he was at Huobi like years ago. So Ethan spent time, personal time, monitoring and watching us in the last 1 year, ever since he went Huobi. And then when he moved to Biki, again, we continue discussions without any specific goal, but more like regular update. And I think somehow we have been able to show Biki some of our growth milestone during the COVID time. So both for us and Biki, we will say, oh yeah, let's do a listing. But then the COVID hit, and then we say, okay, let's wait a little bit more to see how it go. So basically, when things starting getting better in the China market, like in the China mainland, in Taiwan, and even in Vietnam, we start doing okay. So we think that, okay, this is maybe the right time.
The next community question is, what are your plans for, looking forward in terms of like the largest of exchanges, the other big exchanges around the world? Is this something that you're going to be actively pursuing? Or is this something you're going to be kind of holding off on for the time being? What's your general thought process on that?
So for us, after the listings, 3 months, we will focusly on first on Biki first. So from now, maybe until October, then we'll just purely focusing on Biki, because for us, right, we're not just a team that create a token and we handle the listing. We still have to build the product ourselves. And for us, we think we need some more time to build a much more refined product to start to looking for another exchange. And we think that there's no better ways to talk to an exchange by showing, hey, this is a good product, please use it. And then If you think we like it, get a listing. That's how we deal with Biki, by showing them the product, by showing our progress, and then we decided to do a listing. But for sure, I think right after I think October, but the next thing we're going to do is we're going to listing on TomoDex, because I think it's a great platform for us to build. And somehow we think that we maybe want to build our own mini exchange, like using the TomoDex infrastructure, because everything is already there. It's just time to refine the UI for our community. So for us, when we launching on TomoDex, it's experience for team to learn. So for us, anything that provide us learning experience, we're gonna do it.
Speaking with different exchanges on a regular basis, one of the things that they always talk about, and they'll say they'll say talk to each other about, we'll list projects if they're willing to pay us a lot, but ultimately we don't think they're going to be sustainable and they're probably just shit coins. And I was talking to one of the biggest exchanges last week and they were telling me that. However, the thing that they're always looking for are projects that continue to build, show progress, and have key milestones that they can highlight, and that there is actually a community behind it. This is something that is quite much more rare than perhaps many people realize. So that slow and steady growth, which is not really that slow in crypto, but still taking a slower approach, where it takes you a few months rather than say a week to get something done, is it's a good move. I definitely think it's a good move. So I guess what is, in that case, you're talking about building essentially. So what are your key focus areas for the rest of the year?
So right now for us, right after we listing on the exchange, so right now then we start to have like a price point for the trip miles, be it like $1 or half 50 cents, there'll be a price point. And right after that, we will focusing on releasing our integrations, where we allow user to use TripMine to pay for hotel accommodations in 229 countries. Internally, we have done all the testing, everything. So internally, we'll be able to pay for hotel room with TripMiles already. But for us, it's still not the best experience we'll be able to provide. There's a lot of things to build like a great accommodation booking platform. We want to be as good as the biggest name out there, like Agoda, who is our partner. So one thing for sure, you will be able to book accommodations, hotels, homestays across 229 countries. So you'll be able to use TripMine to pay for a 5-star hotel, any 5-star hotel that you want, or any homestay around you. That's the first thing. The second thing is when the market is getting a little bit better, and always, so we have a lot of improvement for COVID-19. Then we're gonna launch our second feature where you will be able to use TripMine to pay for activities, dinners, attraction tickets. So things about the New York Broadways, things about like Singapore Zoo, think about Doraemon Museum in Japan, think about La Casa de Familia in Barcelona. All of those things you'll be able to pay by TripMiles. But the rest of the year, we will start to focusing on leveraging on the Tomo chain infrastructure, especially the Tomo lending feature, the Tomo exchange, to start to putting in some DeFi features into our platform. Because what we don't consider ourselves as just a travel platform. We consider ourselves as a decentralized finance platform for the travel industry. So here at Trip, you'll be able to earn money by sharing your data, by contributing value, provide work for other people. But what about you'll be able to grow your travel fund with Trip? What if you'll be able to put $100 on a smart contract and you'll be able to earn 8% annual interest rate? Or you'll be able to do a peer-to-peer lending with the help of Tomo lending platform, right? And all of that's within the Trip app. So that's what we're gonna work really hard this year.
I love that. Yeah. So allowing your customers to be able to use the token, to be able to save, to be able to earn from it, to be able to lend it out, borrow. I think that's it's interesting how the industry is kind of shaping up more in that direction. Our industry in the blockchain space, right? And it really does put the power in the hands of the users. Do you have? Are there any announcements that Trip wants to make?
Well, I think, well, thank you for saving the last for the best. So for us, this year, we're gonna announce our program on the Travel Hero campaign. So we're gonna be able to build a feature where we allow you to every traveler to become a travel hero by sharing your personal travel link. So imagine this. So Kim, you're gonna have your own personal website, and then you're gonna share to your friends. Say, hey, instead of booking at other websites, let's book at Kin Travel website. So in this Kin Travel website, you're gonna have all the accommodations on the tour in the world. And the best thing is, whenever your friends make a booking, you earn 1% of that. And then together, you and your friend will contributing 1% to our sustainable fund. So we're going to use this fund to fund for climate emergencies projects. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to funding for tree planting across in different countries in Asia Pacific. And we also, when we have this fund to grow more, we'll be able to fund for more things. So it's going to be a start small experiment, but imagine this. There were 1.8 1.8 billion traveler every year, and all of these people are spending 8.8 trillion US dollar on their activities. What if 1% of 8.8 trillions be able to fund for this climate change fund? How much money is being generated? And right now, right, out of this 8.8 trillion, there were 5 or 6% been wasted in a lot of middlemen already. So it's our job to take back on the waste, put into a global fund, that fund for climate change. So for us, we want to build a sustainable community, but we also want to build a sustainable environment. Without a good weather, you cannot travel. Without a great air, you cannot breathe. So for us, the next big thing and the last thing we want to say is join us, help us to build this climate emergency fund through your travel. And we're gonna hopefully be able to launch this by end of this year.
What advice would you give to other businesses that are considering integrating blockchain into their business? How should they think about that process and what should they be considering?
If there is 5 reasons you should use blockchain for your business, there will be 50 reasons for you should not use blockchain as business, right? And for us, we were just reckless enough, which is let's test it out, see how it go. So for big corporations, you can start to build a prototype, like creating a sandbox within your corporations, and also let things about how each individual employee. So if you want to build adopt blockchains for your business, let things have a small and simple feature where you can build and let your employee use it daily, because that's the only way you can move an entire organization to do something so new, something considered an adventure. Even the CEO say, yeah, let's do blockchains. But when you go down to other line manager and they say, and there will be a lot of reason not to do anything. And then it's going to fail. And then we will reporting back to the CEO say, yeah, blockchain is bad. It's not going to work. But sometimes it's just because the mentality of the people who actually building it. So for us at Trip, every team member like has to have a Tomo wallet. So I forced them to have a Tomo wallet like years ago. They have to start to move money between wallet to see it costs near zero transaction fee to move money on Tomo chain, so that they understand if it's near zero, which means we'll be able, if people buy a $3 tour, they don't have to pay a $10 fee on transactions, but they only need to pay like 0.80 So they see, oh, this is the user case of blockchains. They don't care about the other fancy or technical thing. They just know that if we use on blockchains, it's near zero transaction fee, and by doing that, I can do a lot of things. So for me, my advice to build something small that everybody can use.
I like it. I like it. So thank you very much for joining us on giving us all of your time. I know you're really busy. You have more AMAs coming up. You have the exchange listing coming up. So we're really excited to have been able to kind of lock you in for a couple of hours here. And I wish you the best. All of us at TomoChain, again, are rooting for you. And we're looking forward to working more closely together over the next several months. I'm definitely looking forward to that TomoDex listing as well.
Yep. No, thank you, Ken.
Thank you very much.